Hello Bisons, welcome to Bisora. Day today, Tuesday, January 7th, and we are currently at the London Open. The initial balance has just begun and we are waiting for that to form and see if we get a break on that. We are currently looking at the Euro GBP and we're gonna just cycle through our watch list here. We're gonna begin on the higher time frame to see if we can choose a pendulum in this area, see if we have a pivot, something to work with in this level. uh I already explained to you guys that we are breakout traders, so we look for levels where the market has slowed down and there is a bit of a consolidation, and we try to find these levels where the market might be looking to turn at. Now I'm gonna go ahead and highlight this pendulum right here so that you guys can see what I'm looking at, and we're just gonna go ahead and choose our pivot on our higher time frame so that we can have some form of direction, something to work with whenever we get down to our lower time frame. Okay, that is very important that you are choosing your higher time frame levels first, because those are going to help you to get in at better levels whenever we get down to the lower time frame charts, because that will give us just a stronger level to work from, a stronger pivot point to work from, that we can place a little bit more trust in our levels because they are coming from a higher time frame. Okay, and we don't want this showing on the lower time frame chart because we don't want to crowd our charts too much. So we're gonna go ahead and make that invisible on a lower time frame, and then we can drop down to our lower time frame. Now we've already had our Asian initial balance form, and we already have that broken to the downside, and it's going to be on this candle that is going to give us our pivot point. And as you guys can clearly see, we're gonna just stop this at the London initial balance at the beginning of it right here at 2 a.m. And we should go ahead and label that immediately as the Asian break. Now, as you guys can see, once that formed, the market already moved away here. We have this little period of consolidation happening in this level, in this area right here, where we are still currently trading and the market has not returned to our level yet. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and just show you guys how we would get into this trade, how we would use these levels. If we don't have to wait for this to happen, because we are already expecting that if the market comes up to here, we are looking for a one touch on our level. And if we drop down to we can look at where that is on our higher time frame. We can see that clearly it did not go. This level is below our lower time frame level. If you look at our, we'll see right here. So we try to get in a little bit higher up here, you guys, closer to the pivot point on the higher time frames. So what we can do actually is just set an alert right here so that we are notified whenever, if the market returns to this level. We might not want to get in immediately, you guys. We might want to wait for something a little to show us, to give us a sign that the market is actually going to turn and go lower, or like it might continue higher from these pivot points. Like I already explained to you, just because we have the market, the pivot forming in a bearish candle, a down close candle, and it is closing below the low on the initial balance, that does not necessarily mean that we are going to be looking for bearish trades. Okay, you guys have to have that clear. You guys have to have that very clear. Now, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and just cycle through our watch list here. Okay, and the next up is going to be the GBP USD. Now, same process. We're going to start on our higher time frame, and we're going to try to find a pivot, a pendulum first, so that we can find a pivot point to work with. Okay, I'm gonna highlight this pendulum point this pendulum right here, and we're gonna choose this pivot point right here, most recently formed. Now I'm going to remove this pendulum and keep that on there because we try to keep our charts clean, you guys. Actually, I'm gonna leave it on there so that you guys can see. This is for your guys' benefit. Like I said, whenever you annotate on your charts, you want to you don't want to obstruct your view on your candles. You want to keep it clean. You want to make sure that you can still see your charts. So I can leave these on here actually because it is not obstructing anything. It is not preventing me from seeing what is actually happening on these charts. Okay, now look at this, you guys. I have to make this invisible also on the minute chart, and we're going to go ahead and drop down to our lower time frame. And as you can see, the market is, well, has been trading higher. Now on the lower time frame here, you can see that the market has been trading higher and somewhat of a aggressive move going up, right? If you look at the higher time frames, you can see that it essentially just went straight up from Thursday, 2nd January. The market just literally went straight up. We had a bit of a retracement and then right back at the top. So we are currently, if we are to be choosing a side on this one, we would most likely be waiting for somewhat of a retracement, especially on the higher time frame. We can see our pivot point right here was not returned to, not yet. So if we are looking, we would say the market could possibly return to somewhere around these levels for a pullback before continuing higher. So if we see something like that happening, then we will know how to interact with the market based on that information that we have. Now I want to take this moment to show you guys a really important concept that I already introduced to you guys, but we're going to be transferring the pivot on here from the, because, okay, so let's go ahead and first select our pivot point for our Asian break. And as we can see that this is quite a significant candle in terms of the volume that it has relative to the candles around this one. Okay, relative to all the candles that were formed in this area, you can see that this one is significantly bigger, so we might not want to use that one for our pivot point. However, we need to use that one because as the system dictates, it is the first candle that closes above the or below the initial balance. In this case, it's going to be above because as we can clearly see, it is closing to the upside here above our high on the initial balance in the Asian session. Okay. Now we're going to transfer. We did not have it closing to the downside here as a reverse on our pivot, so we will not be able to transfer. Actually, you guys, we're gonna have to keep this one for now, and we're just gonna have to wait and see if we get a better level to trade to choose from in our once our initial balance has elapsed for the London session, and see if we get a close on that. Where do we get a close on that one? And I'm gonna go ahead and look for the first presentation in here, and that might also give us a better level to choose from. We have a pendulum forming right here, but that would give us the same candle for the break on the pendulum, even if we use the one for the initial balance. If we do this one, same, this candle is going to be the break, and so we're just gonna go ahead and keep that one, you guys. So we're gonna come back to this, and we can also go ahead and put our alert to see if to be notified if and when the market comes down to this level. We will just be notified that, hey, something interesting might or might not be happening. The market is trading at your level, so be on guard, be on the lookout. to look for the setup to form, to wait for the entry to form, see if the opportunity to get into the market is present to us. Okay. And we're just gonna keep going. We still don't have the right one yet that we're looking for. And here we have we're gonna start on the higher time frame, you guys. Same scenario, same system. We apply it methodically, and we are going to be looking for our pendulum so that we can choose our pivot point, you guys. Now, I am not seeing a pendulum off just popping at me in this area, not yet. So we can scrub back a little bit and choose one from this little area right here where the market slowed down. And we can, I'm gonna use this one because this is the most recent one that I see. And I'm gonna highlight it so that you guys can see what I'm talking about here. And we have our point 1, point 2, point 3, and point 4, you guys, right here. And which one is it that is breaking above our point 2? We have our high right here, you guys. And just to be precise, we can hover over a candle and we can look at our high. If you guys are to look in the top left corner of your screen, you can see the OHLC, the open, high, low, and close values of our candle. And we can see our high is 157.498, and for our close on this candle, it is going to be 157.511. Clearly, 157.511 is higher than 157.498, not by much, and that is why I had to check the OHLC at the top of our screen, you guys, because I am not sure that it is closing above on the higher time frame right here. But as you can see, the numbers are very clear. This one is closing just a little bit higher, you guys, just a little bit higher, and that is all that we need. We just need it to close above the high. The volume on this candle is significant enough where it can be used as a standalone. We don't have to put these two candles together. In some cases, that is what we will do. However, in this instance, not so much, because this candle has enough volume on its own. Okay, that's very important. Now we have to go ahead and remove this from our lower time frame because we don't want it obstructing our view. That is very important that we are doing that. Now, having selected our pivot point here on a higher time frame, we can go ahead and drop down to our lower time frame chart, and we can see clearly right here we have our the initial balance already forming for the Asian session. Clearly that time has already passed, so we know that the Asian initial balance has already formed. We have the break right here being very conspicuous, you guys. It's not even trying to hide itself from us like the one on the higher time frame. This one is very clear and obvious, and we're gonna go ahead and select that and label it as our Asian break. Now we have the market coming to these levels for our first touch. And what we can do, you guys, actually, because we are anticipating some form of retracement to this level. However, if we look carefully, we can see that the market did return to this level already. There was a move away here, a return to it here, right here, you guys, and the market already traded higher. Now I'm gonna go up to the higher time frame again just to check something out, you guys. I want to get a better view on this, and we can clearly see that the market did take liquidity above these highs right here. We do have a close, so this is a break above these highs. However, the market is already trading below this low right here, so that is a bit of a like flashing us multiple signs, you guys, just being very unclear on this time frame. So let's go ahead and take it a little bit further and just look at a higher time frame, you guys. And as we can see, we have our pivot point right here on a daily chart, and the market is still trading at these lows. So actually what we're gonna do, you guys, let's go back and go down to our 2-hour chart. And actually we're gonna just leave this one also to wait for the London initial balance to form and see where, once our pivot forms, see if we can use those levels also in conjunction with what we already have to choose just the level to see if we have an opportunity to engage in the market. Like I said, you guys, we are not trying to guess what is going to happen because there are so many variations of how this can play out, you guys. We just wait and see what the market is trying to do. We read the story. Like I said, you know, these candlesticks are literally words on our page. So we just read the narrative and look at what is happening before we can make a decision. Okay, we don't try to make our decisions prematurely. It is literally just 2:20 a.m. in the morning. The day has barely started. We don't have nearly enough information in this instance. Sometimes at this time we already have all the information we need to enter into a trade. At this current moment, so far we don't. So we're just gonna wait a little bit more, you guys. Patience is going to be one of the most important skills that you develop as a trader, you guys. Okay, you guys. Now, some time has elapsed since we were last looking at this. When we were here earlier, we were inside of the initial balance on the London session. And on this market in particular, we were saying that it was about around here somewhere. And we were saying that it could continue lower to come down into our higher time frame level. And that is what we had happen here. Now, there was somewhat of a bounce away, and we are going to go ahead and classify this as our first touch on our higher time frame level. And with that being said, you guys, we're going to go ahead and classify this as our first touch on our higher time frame level. So with that being said, we are not going to be expecting the market to come down to this level anymore, you guys. In the event that we see the market returning to this level, we know that this might, well, it can still remain our first touch as long as this level is not broken. Then our idea is still valid. And before we go any further, I want to go ahead and look at our economic calendar to see what we have happening for today. And we can bring this up, and let's go to this week right here. And as we can, wait, what? Why is it? Okay, now that's better, you guys. I was like, why is it not showing the right days for the week? And today is Tuesday, January 7th. So we're just going to go ahead and we can just go to today, you guys, so that we can, it's not Friday, it's Tuesday. Okay, we just had to refresh a little bit and we can clear. Let's just cycle to the current time frame. We can see that we have high impact news drivers coming out at 10 o'clock for our markets. We are not trading any Canadian markets right now, so we will not be affected too much by this news driver at 8:30. However, we are not sure, anything goes. This is injection of volatility into the markets, but for the most part we are waiting for around 10 o'clock to see if anything interesting is happening for our markets. However, we can go ahead and I'm gonna select the pivot point on our lower time frame here because the initial balance has closed and we already have our pivot point. So we can go ahead and select that. And remember, guys, it is going to be the first candle that closes above or below the high or the low on the range on your initial balance. When your initial balance is formed, it is going to form a range consisting of a high and a low within that time frame. and we are just going to be selecting the first candle that breaks outside of that range, and we're going to be using that for our pivot. And we're going to label this as our London break, so we don't get confused if we ever come back to look at this. Whenever we come back to study, whenever we are reviewing our trades, we want to use these levels. We want to know what these levels are that we have placed on our charts. Now we can clearly see that the market did return to this pivot point right here for the first touch, and it is still in that area right there actually, you guys. So I'm gonna show you guys how I would use this level. It's still right there, you guys. We don't have to get in literally right here where it at the level. We, like I said, we use these levels to get in at or around these levels, you guys. It doesn't have to be literally at here. We can use these levels to get in around these levels also. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys an example of what that would look like, and I'm gonna bring up my order book right here so that I can, and I want to do a market order. I want to show you guys the different ways how we can enter into these markets, different order types. We have market orders, limit orders, and stop orders. All of them function differently and they work differently to get us in the markets. And for this example, we're going to be executing a market order, and we're going to go ahead and select a stop loss, you guys. And for this one, I'm going to place it below this candle, just a little bit below my pivot point. Like I said, I want to cover for the spread myself. And we definitely do not want to risk 28% of our account on one single trade, you guys. That is madness. We're going to try, let's just say we're going to risk 5%, you guys. You know what I mean? We're going to risk 5% of our account on this trade, because we have other markets that we are looking at also. So that should be good. That's a good risk parameter for this trade. And we're just going to go ahead and execute that buy, and we are live, you guys. That placed us inside of our trade. We already have our stop place. We did not select a target yet, you guys, because our targets are going to be chosen from the higher time frames, and we can add that after the fact, you guys. Sometimes we are getting out before the market even reaches our targets based on what is happening in the markets. So we are back looking at this, and the entire trading day has elapsed, you guys. If you guys remember, we only had one opportunity present to us today, and that was on the USDJPY. Wow. So we had taken a long position somewhere around here in this time frame. I don't remember exactly when, but it was in this area inside of the New York initial balance while that was forming. And as we can clearly see, the market did trade higher. We pointed out that there will be a news driver coming into the market at 10 a.m. And we can see that that was a bullish news driver, favorable for our trade. However, we can see that it came all the way down in a slow movement, just retracing slowly. This was very painful to sit through, you guys. I had to leave the charts. I had to close my computer and walk away in order to not do something stupid, you guys. This is how we build the trust in our system. We place our trades and we wait for it to play out. We wait to see what happens. And as you guys can see, the market did come all the way back to our entry point. It was slightly below our entry point at one moment in time. So we were in a little bit of a drawdown after being in significant profits on this trade. However, if we stuck with our guns, you guys, and we trust in our system, we see that the market is actually going trading higher again here, and we actually did not select a target for our trade, so we can go ahead and do that right now. Actually, let us look at this level, and logically we can say if the market comes back to this level, then that would be a good area to get out of this trade. It doesn't really We don't have to like hold on to this trade for too long. As we can see, this level also is a little bit repulsive. So the market might not even trade up to this level, you guys. So we're going to go ahead and modify our trade to make sure that we are on the safe side as it relates to protecting our account capital. And we want to say 158.420 would be a good level to get out of this trade for our profit target. So let's go ahead and modify that. Take profit 158.420. And we can go ahead and move our stop loss. Uh, we want to put our stop at break even, you guys. We want to remove all risk from this. So let's go ahead and just put that to 0. And if we put that at, if we put our stop, if we put our risk percentage to 0, that will move our stop to break even. So we can go ahead and modify that trade. In the event that the market comes back to our entry, we will get stopped at break even. In the event that the market trades higher and comes back to these levels from earlier today, then we will be exiting at a profit, whatever number that will be, you guys. Now, I hope you guys found this video insightful. I hope you guys were able to learn and see how easy this strategy is to apply, you guys. It does not take much. Once you understand the concepts, which I believe are really simple, then you guys can be entering into the markets with confidence, and you guys can be holding on to your trades also with the same confidence that I hold on to these trades with, you guys. If anything is unclear to you, then please let me know in the comments, and I will try my best to explain it to you in a more simplified way. Message me on Discord, you guys. We have a community on there. We have a community on Telegram also. So if you guys are not joined, those handles will be in the description to this video, you guys. Have a wonderful day and happy trading. I will see you guys in the next video.